podcast, recording Sunday, May 19th. Your Los Angeles Dodgers are now 32-17 early on in the young 2024 season. They're 8 up right now in the NL West. The San Diego Padres, the San Francisco Giants, and the Arizona Diamondbacks are all looking up right now as the Dodgers are just running away with this division. Obviously, we are recording a little spontaneously because Shohei Ohtani continues to do big things for the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's been 4 years, but he finally got another walk-off hit, his first in a Los Angeles Dodgers uniform. So what an electric finish as the Dodgers take 3 of 4 against the Cincinnati Reds. They won the last 3 consecutively, and they kind of crushed them after an ugly first game. I'm joined by Chris Camello today. He's been on the Incline Dodgers podcast quite a few times. I'm going to give Chris the floor right now to share his thoughts on recent Dodgers play, this Otani walk-off, and anything else on his mind. What's up, Chris?
What's up, Kev? Yeah, I don't think there's any place better to begin than the Shohei Ohtani walk-off hit. You know, we had been talking about, I think if there was one downside to Shohei Ohtani, and this is a reach among reaches, it was he hadn't had that moment yet as a Dodger, that big, game-winning, dramatic moment like we've seen other guys have, like Betts has had, like Freeman has had, Max Muncy, Corey Seager, whoever you want to pick. And Steven Nelson nailed that call. Showstopper, game ender. That was huge right there. You know, Kike, the inning kind of started off with a bad omen. You know, Kike tries to bunt, he pops it up, and it's a tough first out, a very unproductive out. You know, Mookie, I thought was going to flare it out to center field. He comes up short, and then Ohtani falls behind in the count 0-2, but fought off a couple pitches, stayed in the fight, and then just found a good pitch to drive out to right field. Amazing moment for Shohei Ohtani, continuing to build up an MVP season. Landon Knack was solid. Yarbrough, outside of that bad play, overall was pretty good. Vesky was good, but I honestly thought, in addition to Ohtani, the hero of the game was Anthony Banda. We know, Kev, how bad the Dodgers have been in extra innings since the ghost runner was put on there. Home, road, it doesn't matter. The fact that this guy threw up a 0 in a big spot and kept Ellie De La Cruz at second, that was huge. And Shohei said it after the game. That gave us back the momentum. So in addition to Ohtani getting the player of the game honors, he should definitely give a piece of that to Anthony Banda because he was fantastic. First win as a Dodger in his first game as a Dodger. So great series win, great win period.
Yeah, you nailed it. Way to make a good first impression for Anthony Banda, who was acquired from the Cleveland Guardians for cash considerations, added him to the active roster today. And yeah, you called it with him leaving Ellie De La Cruz on second base, a guy that the Dodgers actually did a tremendous job after the first game. He went 0 for 13 with 8 strikeouts in the last 3 games. In the first game, he got on base. He went 4 for 4 with 4 stolen bases, 5 total bases. But those last 3 games, he didn't get on base once. And he went 0 for 13 with 8 strikeouts. And then that last time when he got on for free, he still didn't get a stolen base. Anthony Banda, what a great acquisition so far. I mean, he's a left-hander. Looks like he can throw in the high velocity too. So we'll see what his tenure for the Dodgers looks like. But this could be another Andrew Freeman scooping someone off the waiver wire market and making another impact out of the bullpen. And overall, I mean, the Dodgers bullpen, despite the abundance of injuries, they've all been really doing an excellent job game after game. Yeah. There really hasn't been any blowups. It seems like Michael Grove is coming into a hot zone as well, as long as they use him as just a 1-inning guy. Kind of shades of Eric Gagne, someone who couldn't cut it out as a starting pitcher as well. And then once he found that relief role was lights out. Yarbrough has just been exceptional in the role that they continue to throw him in. And then Alex Vesey, I know he did walk in the tying run, but overall he's been tremendous as well as a high leverage left-handed reliever. And they mentioned it on the broadcast that right-handed bats are hitting like basically 100 against him. So he's been reverse splits as well, getting both sides of the plate played out.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that stat makes sense because I was a bit of a head scratcher. They had a David Bell puts Spencer Steer out there. It's announced it's a right-handed batter. I was really surprised that they didn't put in another right-handed reliever during that time. So, yeah, the fact that Vesia was opposing right-handed bats were only batting 100 against him, that makes sense why Vesia was in that moment. So thanks for clearing that up because I was going to ask you about that. So you beat me to it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure as well until they read out the stat. I was like, okay, I get it now. And then, of course, Blake Trinan, who pitched once again another scoreless outing, made Ellie De La Cruz's son 2 times in this series, struck him out with that filthy slider. I mean, it's been disgusting. So whoever did the reconstruction surgery on his shoulder, shout out to them, because Trinan looks like a new man as well. His sweeper is about as nasty as I think it's ever looked in his Dodgers tenure.
Yeah, and in addition to Walker Buehler, I'm sure we'll get into him a little bit later on. But this has been a long road back for Blake Trinan. I know he tried to come back late 2022, wasn't quite the same guy. Gave up that big home run to Cronenworth in Game 2, I believe, of the NLDS, and I don't think he appeared again, Kev, for the rest of that series. So it's missed all of last year, had another shoulder surgery, missed spring training this year, the first month. So it's just been one thing after another. So to see him get back to the Blake Trinan that we saw 3-4 years ago, in addition to what Daniel Hudson is doing, Vestia, Grove, JP Fireisen, it's been all hands on deck. And, no Kelly, no Brazier, no Evan Phillips, no problem. We're finding ways to win games. And this is, you got to give for as many Dave Roberts haters as there are out there, give him credit, because this is his strength, navigating through adversity, navigating through injuries to starters and relievers alike. And he's done a fantastic job of that through the first 7 weeks of the season.
Definitely. Yeah, go ahead in the chat. Let us know what your thoughts are on Shohei Ohtani's walk-off today. That was very exciting. I have more thoughts on that. Hit that like and subscribe button too while you're at it. But been a rough season for both the Diaz brothers. Edwin Diaz lost the closer job for the New York Mets, who the Dodgers are actually going to see next up. They're going to New York to face the Mets. And then Alexis Diaz, who got rocked in the series, he was the one who gave up the walk-off base hit to Shohei Ohtani. I mean, this has just been everything and more that Dodger fans could ask for from Shohei Ohtani.
No doubt.
You almost kind of forget that they paid him to also be a pitcher. But what he's doing so far with the bat, it's like 42 million or 44 million in today's money that they're paying him annually because of all the deferrals. They're already making it back with the sponsorships. It feels like every other day they announce a new partner with a Japanese company.
Right.
But just his impact alone offensively, I mean, he's a 353 hitter, 1,081 OPS, the 13 home runs, 33 RBIs, and 11 stolen bases. Add to the resume today a walk-off hit. So to those that say Shohei Ohtani ain't clutch, well, we got some highlight tape now, fools.
Absolutely. And this was his second big hit in extra innings. I believe it was against the Braves. He had a game-tying hit, but this was his first walk-off. So, yeah, no, he's doing a great job. And I don't know if you wanted to shift to Andy Pages, 5th home run as a Dodger.
Yeah.
And this coming on the heels of his fellow OKC Dodger teammate, James Outman, being sent down back to Oklahoma City, and Pages proving that he just continues to have a big presence in this lineup and that he belongs at the big league level. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that, Kev, today with that 2-run home run. That was the only offense up until the 10th inning.
Yeah, Pages was in a little bit of a slump. I think it was like a 150 batting average or so over his last 40 plate appearances, something along those lines. But it's good to see him go yard. The guy is making a tremendous impact as a rookie. He's able to play center field, which is a huge value for the Dodgers. And we'll get to why. You wrote a great piece on James Outman, which I'll give you a couple minutes to elaborate on in just a second. But love what they have from Pages. This guy looks like a veteran up there. He doesn't really get rattled. As he's getting more experience, you can see him working the count, better plate discipline. And when he connects that bat to the ball, saw today, able to hit it out of the yard. Good point out by Justin Yamas that the Dodgers have won their last 3 extra inning games. They are getting it done despite some early struggles with that rule. There is some momentum being built at least. So yeah, we can transition to that now. James Outman got sent down, which I don't think many people were surprised given his poor play this season. Right. Jason Hayward was activated after being out 40 games, hadn't played since March 30th. In his first game back, hit a home run.
Yep.
He looks good. He got a base hit as well today, and I think India robbed him of another hit he could have had. And then we were surprised that Max Muncy got placed on the injured list with the oblique strain. They say that it should be the minimum. We'll see. The Dodgers have a notorious reputation of always under promising, and then we get the worst. So we'll see how long Muncy is out. That led to Miguel Vargas getting called up, who I've been talking about a lot, needed to get an opportunity. Played one game so far. We'll see what happens with Vargas. I'm glad to see him back at the major league level. But yeah, so I think this was the right call, sending James Outman down to Oklahoma City.
For sure. I think at the end of the day, it was going to come down to, did the shine wear off on Andy Pages, where it was like, you know what? If it's between Outman and Pages, let's send Pages down and maybe he can kind of get his confidence back. Was it going to be a phantom IL stint with Chris Taylor maybe going down? Because he's obviously been struggling a lot. So this was, I think, the best case scenario. So yes, you pointed out to my piece. I just wrote a piece yesterday. It got posted today on MLBReport.com. And I basically was looking at the glass half full, like this glass right here. Look, not everybody could come up and be a superstar and be an Ellie De La Cruz or what Corey Seager did or what some of these other guys. There are a lot of trials and tribulations to sometimes being called up and having success. And that's why I said, look at where the Dodgers were a year ago with Outman. He was hitting go-ahead grand slams in Chicago, or a go-ahead home run at home against the Minnesota Twins, or just having those one big moment after the other through the first months of the season. Then he cooled off, heated up again, ended the season on a high note. Second runner-up to Kodai Senga for NL NL Rookie of the Year. Runner-up to Kodai Senga and, of course, Corbin Carroll. And then I put this out there. I'm like, the outfield depth is going to be important. Why? Because you don't know if Outman is going to build on what he did last year, especially Kev. He didn't finish last season strong, and it carried over into the NLDS against Arizona. Granted, he wasn't the only one struggling, but it was obvious that he had really fallen off, and unfortunately that carried over. So for him to get sent down, it's a setback, yes, but it's not the worst thing. Go down to the minors, away from the LA media, away from the Bill Plaschkes and Dylan Hernandez's and schmucks like me. Work on your stuff in OKC. Work with the hitting instructors. Play every day. Get your confidence back. And then who knows? Maybe you'll get called up. A la, let's see, Miguel Vargas, like you just said. Having a good start in Oklahoma City. Confidence is back. Now let's see if that could translate back into the big leagues. And we'll see how well those adjustments will take against big league pitching. I think it's going to go the same route with James Outman, and we'll see what else happens. Doesn't mean he won't get called back this season. Just means he clearly needs some work, because 147, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs ain't cutting it. No matter how good your defense is in center field.
Definitely, and the strikeouts as well, just too high of a clip. People that listen to this podcast religiously would know that I'm a huge James Outman fan. But this had to be done. The season is still way too young. You can't have him be a lost cause like Chris Taylor clearly is. And like you were saying, Chris, we still have a long way ahead. So send him down to the minors, get his confidence up. They could leave him down there for a month or so. Maybe he finds his swing, and then you bring him back up and we see what happens. You can't just leave him up here and let his confidence completely diminish. So
no,
Dodgers made the right call.
Oh no, absolutely. And about Chris Taylor, I just want to point this out. I'm not ready to call him a lost cause yet. I'm not ready to do that yet. At this point, next to Clayton Kershaw, I want to say he's the longest tenured Dodger here.
Austin Barnes.
This guy grow. We've seen him deliver in big moments. Let's be honest, Kev. He was one of the few guys that stood out in that NLDS series offensively last year. Granted, the bar is low because nobody hit in that series, but you pointed it out. He almost had a game-tying 2-run home run. So this guy is not afraid of the big moments. The question is he too far gone where his confidence is shot? And then there's the financial aspect of it, where I don't think the Dodgers, even though a billion-dollar corporation that owns them, they don't want to have him with dead money on the books either. So I think they're going to wait till the last possible moment to see what Chris Taylor can do and if he can bounce back in the next months of the season.
Yeah. The only reason I pause right now is because they're going to ride it out until we get closer to the trade deadline. And then there's going to be a ton of moves potentially We might see Miguel Vargas get traded. We might see Chris Taylor get traded. We might see James Outman get back up. And then if Pages falls in a slump, they might just move him down. There are so many options right now for the Dodgers, and they're going to test everything out and see what the most optimal strategy is. The facts currently speak, though, that Chris Taylor is barely playing. He gets less playing time than Austin Barnes these days, which is kind of speaking loud in terms of where they value Chris Taylor. He can't even play third base while Max Muncy's on the injured list. They've already declared that it'll be Miguel Rojas and Kike Hernandez splitting time. And when you have Vargas now on the roster, who's also a right-handed bat, you have to figure out who's playing between Vargas and Taylor, because Pages is going to start and Teoscar Hernandez is going to start. Right. So there's a lot of log jams going on. And for now, the Dodgers have time on their side, but eventually they're going to have to make some very tough decisions, and someone's going to have to find a new apartment in a different city. That's just the reality of the situation.
No, it definitely is. And obviously you're right. Sitting does not help you break out of a slump. The only way that helps break you out of a slump is by playing. But what's the downside? If you're not hitting and you're not productive, then you become a dead spot in the order. So Dave Roberts is trying to find starts for him, but put him in a situation where he feels he could be successful, but not bench a guy who may be able to be more valuable offensively. So it's a weird conundrum, like you pointed out. So hopefully this isn't the end for Chris Taylor with the Dodgers, and hopefully they find a way over the next 2 months to get him going enough in a part-time role where he kind of carves out a new niche for himself, you know? I mean, do you think that's the best case scenario?
Yep. Let's talk some starting pitchers. So segue to, again, the Walker Buehler bobblehead giveaway. All you have to do is subscribe to our Incline Dodgers podcast channel and comment in the comment sections something about Walker Buehler. So Walker Buehler made his third start of the year for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and it was the best one by a million miles. 6 scoreless innings, 7 strikeouts, a 35% strike plus whiff rate, which is really good for those that are familiar with that metric. Is Walker Buehler back?
To me, I think he's getting close. I would still call him just another guy in this rotation. Another article that I wrote about him being another guy, which is, there's nothing wrong with just being another guy in the rotation while you're working your way back. I was at his last start. Me and my girlfriend went to his last major league start against the Mets in June of 2022, the night that they retired Gil Hodges' number. So it was obvious through the first months of the season and in that start, he wasn't right. He was getting smacked around all over the field. So it's been 2 full calendar years since he's been on a major league mound. Of course, there's going to be hiccups. Of course, there's going to be issues with command. Of course, there's going to be rust and confidence and everything like that. So the fact that he had a great start against a pretty good lineup in the Reds told me he is on the right track. The big question is now, Kev, can he build on that? Or is he going to fall back closer to what we saw in San Diego and against the Miami Marlins? But it's definitely a welcome sign what we saw on Saturday night.
Absolutely. And the Reds are no joke. So to see him mow them down, this is definitely a really good step in the right direction. I have to say, with the Dodgers throwing out all these different guys like Eliza Hernandez and then Landon Knack getting the spot start today, it's no secret the Dodgers are going to a 6-man rotation at this point. They're just not officially announcing it. And so Landon Knack looked good as well. 64 pitches, 4 2/3, I believe, 1-run ball. What I think about this, when I think about this Dodgers rotation right now, I hope I'm not jinxing us, but we are stacked. This is the complete opposite of what we've got from last year. You've got Glasnow and Yamamoto at the top. If everything continues to go the way it's going, Walker Buehler is a very strong number 3. We know Bobby Miller is working his way back, and there's no reason to burn him out anyways. He should be a number 4 on paper. He's just got the talent and the makeup. And then James Paxton's been phenomenal as a 5th starter. I didn't even mention Gavin Stone. Gavin Stone's been one of their best starters as well all season, not just on the Dodgers, but Major League Baseball in general. So that's 6. Clayton Kershaw's on the mound in pre-games now, throwing off that. Working his way back. Looks like he could be back potentially in July or maybe early August. There's your 7th, and then Landon Knack 8. If I'm the Dodgers right now, first we have to assess where we are at come the trade deadline, of course, with health and stuff.
Right.
But Landon Knack is, I think, too good of a pitcher to just kind of be a back and forth between the minors and majors. I feel like this is someone, and this is not a knock. This is more of a compliment. You can sell high on Landon Knack around the trade deadline, and he could get you a really nice bat. They still need a shortstop. That's my firm opinion. And the reason I will continue to die on that hill, I mean, just the other day, Bill Plunkett of the OC Register wrote that they gave Mookie Betts a day off as a mental fatigue reset. It seems like the shortstop position, I don't know about physically, but at least mentally is starting to wear on Mookie Betts. He does have, I think, 7 errors, and defensively, he
had 2 on Friday night. I saw that.
Right.
And gave up those 2 home runs. One of those runs extended the inning and allowed the Reds to get on the board. So that definitely changed the dynamic of the game. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you pointed that out for more context, because that's true. That was bad on Friday. And just overall, the metrics suggest that he's just a negative impact defender at the shortstop position, which is really weird because as a whole, the Dodgers are the best team in Major League Baseball when it comes to defensive runs saved, because they're just getting it done all around the diamond elsewhere, I guess. But
it was a bad night. I mean, it was a bad night. And clearly what Mookie said combined with what they had. And by the way, he wasn't the only one. Gavin Lux made an error, I believe, in that 9th inning as well. A ball that he stopped nicely. But for whatever reason, that night, Kev, we saw 2 glove-to-hand exchanges. Really, that was really the big issue. It was just kind of like one of those things where it's like, it's not like they were not getting, making the stops. They were making the stops on the ground balls. They just couldn't get it from the glove to the hand, which should be, the more routine thing to do. But it just goes to show you, just like an unforced error in basketball or whatever, or a missed route in football. Bad stuff will happen. Lack of focus. You zig when you're supposed to zag. It happens. But clearly, Dave Roberts probably felt, let's give Mookie a day off, let him decompress, rest and everything like that, spend a little time with his family, whatever, and he'll come back well rested. And you know what? He was good the last couple of days. So, I agree. A shortstop would be the safer option, and then just move Mookie over to second base. But, they're also committed to seeing this Gavin Lux thing through. And the fact is, he's not playing well enough to be a centerpiece in any of these deals. That's where it gets tricky. So going back to your Landon Knack idea, you would almost have to attach him or somebody else with Lux in order to land someone of the caliber of Willy Adames. And here's the worst part about that, Kev. Milwaukee's in first place in that NL Central. Shout out to Pat Murphy, first-year manager. He, and some of the other pieces that they lost, they're doing really good. Even in a bad division, they're doing good. I really thought there was going to be a drop-off this year. So I don't know if Adames will be available come July.
I don't think so either. I've pivoted to the Toronto Blue Jays and Bo Bichette. I am rooting for their downfall, and I think Bichette would be an awesome ad. They indicated that they're giving Gavin Lux 150 at-bats until they reevaluate what to do with him. And, I mean, I'll give him credit. He is starting to hit in a more positive manner. But overall, these are still just they're bad numbers. I mean, he's got 124 at-bats. He's hitting 194 with 1 home run, 12 RBIs, and a 506 OPS. Over his last 7 games, he's hitting 214 as well. Last 15, 208. Like, the leash and the excuses that we are giving this guy, I understand he's coming off the knee injury and had to get his knee reconstructed. But at a certain point, it's not worth having Mookie Betts at shortstop, making a bunch of errors, even though Lux defensively is one of the best right now in all of baseball at second base. But the bat ain't getting it done, pal.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And another guy to keep an eye on, because I didn't realize this, the Reds are in last, and they're now 8 or 9 below 500. So they could potentially make some moves. And I think another option, granted, it's not a pure shortstop. I like Jonathan India. That's a solid ball player right there. Plays second base, really good fielder. Not the best bat ever, but I think we could both agree better than Gavin Lux. So if nothing else, if you want to upgrade the second base position, I would consider Jonathan India.
Rookie of the year. Yeah, I don't dislike him. He's a solid bat, but it doesn't really solve the Mookie Betts at shortstop issue for me.
True.
So I pause on that unless India can surprise us and play some shortstop. But
Yeah, that's
I want to give everyone in the chat, your opportunity since you're watching along live. Feel free to drop some questions. We can do a quick Q&A. We've got some time here. I don't think I talked about it yet, but a few days ago, the Dodgers announced that Emmett Sheehan is gone for the year. He's undergoing Tommy John surgery. This is a bummer for the kid because I liked what I really saw from him out of the Dodgers last season. Came out of the bullpen in the game one of the postseason when Kershaw had a rough start and held it down in a really tough situation. What kind of is frustrating to me about this whole Sheehan thing is I just felt like the Dodgers front office and medical staff was giving us a lot of misguided information. One week it was he's making great progress, should be back soon, to now he's out for the season with Tommy John surgery. But fortunately, like I was talking about a few minutes ago, on what we've got with depth right now, it's not a loss with Sheehan out for the year.
No, you just put him into the stockpile of pitchers who are recovering. Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, Emmett Sheehan. So, I mean, it sucks. I agree with you that, it is a setback because he probably, given also how young he is, Kev, they're not going to want to rush him back. You know how the Dodgers like to do it. They don't mind you eating a year because guess what? That's one more year you're under team control. So if we're going to protect this arm, let's wait it out as long as we can and just make sure he comes back 100%. Tony Gonsolin, Dustin May, Kershaw, we know Buehler's been out, for the last year. So it is, I agree with you. It's bad news considering how hard he was working to come back, but this happens with pitchers, and you always, and a lot of people say to me, well, why don't they just get the surgery right away? Because they're trying other options. It's one of those things where it's just like, we don't want to just put it out there and sink a year unless we're absolutely sure. So we'll see how he comes back. But yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely a rough moment, but not the end of the world. It's not even becoming if anymore with Tommy John. It's when.
Sadly, true. Steve G is drinking twisted teas, making barbecue Wagyu burgers, listening to the Incline. Thank you, Steve. And you may have missed it, but I actually gave Michael Grove a shout out and some love earlier, compared him to an Eric Gagne-like arc. So there you go, Steve. Again, chat, if you have questions, feel free to drop them below, and we'll get to that. IV, silly question, but did any of you guys attend Shohei Ohtani bobblehead night? Thoughts on the resale value fiasco? So yeah, Shohei Ohtani did have his bobblehead night, and it was a sold-out game, packed to the max. People were lining up for hours. On top of that, the city of Los Angeles announced that May 17th will forever be known as Shohei Ohtani Day. And what does Shohei Ohtani do on the inaugural Shohei Ohtani Day? He hits a home run because he is God or a unicorn or whatever you want to lump him into, because he is the greatest baseball player on planet Earth. Maybe some will say he's the best athlete right now on planet Earth. There's an argument to be made. But no, I did not attend Ohtani bobblehead night. The tickets were way too expensive, and I didn't want to deal with that traffic.
Well, I mean, here was the thing. I was going to go to Ohtani, but then the line started at the 10 freeway, on the freeway, and, I almost got hit by a couple cars. So, I was like, yeah, this ain't worth it. I'm just going to head home. No, I'm not there either.
For sure. I don't really have an opinion on what people are doing with their resales. Everything is just out of hand these days when it comes to scalping, whether it's tickets, people trying to charge $1,000 for Coachella passes and then getting screwed over, or now they're trying to charge, I think I saw some people trying to charge like $1,500 to $5,000 for these Ohtani bobbleheads. If you're desperate enough to pay that much for a bobblehead, then I'm not going to judge you. It's your money. Like, you do you.
I don't even like paying $3 for a head of romaine lettuce at Smart and Final. I was just telling my girlfriend that. So, so anyway, I mean, look, but hey, each his own, man. Some people are collectors. Some people are huge Ohtani fans. Like you said, he's a phenomenon. So if you got a chance to get it and you're willing and you have the money and you're willing to throw it down, hey, You do you, Scotty P. To quote Jason Sudeikis from We're the Millers, you do you, Scotty P.
I got to ask, Chris, is Smart and Final your go-to grocery store?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I am a big hater of Smart and Final, and it's more personal because in college I worked there for a few months. Could not have been treated worse as an employee, so I will never shop there again.
Hey, hey, if it's personal, man. I mean, I totally get it. But Kev, given the fact that you and I only agree like 60% of the time, so I'm not surprised that, like, of course, I like Smart Final. You despise it like anything else. That's our relationship, man. So it's all good.
I'm a Whole Foods guy.
Oh, there you go. Hey, Whole Foods is good.
Yeah.
What do you pay for a head of lettuce over there? About $6 or what?
I think it's like $4.99 or $5.50 or $5.99, something like that.
All right.
Well, it depends on the lettuce. I have to buy organic because my wife is all about that stuff.
Yeah. All good, man. Once again, each his own. You do you.
Speaking of bobbleheads and getting tickets and all that, quick sponsor shout out to Tick Pick, been sponsoring the Incline Dodgers podcast. I think Mookie Betts bobblehead night is next up on the docket. Next time there's a Dodger game.
Tuesday night, May 21st.
There you go. So get your tickets over at the Tick Pick app. No service fees at checkout. A lot of great concerts going on this summer as well. So you're going to want to check out the calendars and see if there's any bands you want to see or your favorite pop artists. All you have to do is download the Tick Pick app. Best ticket prices out there on the open market, and it's definitely worth the investment. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much almost out of segments here. We don't really have many questions going on in the chat, so this will be my last time offering that for anyone listening. Feel free to drop any questions you want. Honestly, we're an open book here. We get crazy.
Martin Final and where we do our grocery shopping. So you could even throw one of those questions at us right now.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Dodgers have just been on a roll. I mean, honestly, what more is there to say? I mean, quick look around the Dodgers roster. I mean, Mookie Betts has been sensational, leads MLB in WAR coming into today. Shohei Ohtani as a DH was second in WAR with a 3, and we were already read off the offensive numbers. He's just been insane. Freddie Freeman has been very quiet, but quietly good.
Yeah,
which is kind of, I think, a good thing for someone like Freddie Freeman.
Sure.
Doesn't have to be the star or the face of the franchise. Just needs to be productive, which is what Freddie Freeman has been. And then Will Smith, if William Contreras didn't exist, we'd be talking about him as the National League All-Star starting catcher. But I can't be a homer here. Contreras for the Brewers has been insane. He's got like a 350 batting average, 1,000 OPS. But Will Smith's having a great season. And then Teoscar Hernandez is leading the team in RBIs. I believe he has 36 RBIs. He's been an awesome pickup. And then the bottom of the order, not as exciting, but they're there.
Yeah, of course. And I just want to say this about Teoscar. While everybody was on Otani and Yamamoto watch, I was saying go after Teoscar Hernandez because you need another right-handed power bat, good for 25 to 30 home runs, good for about 80 to 90, maybe 95 RBIs. He has just been, he's had a couple of rough stretches here and there, but he has had big hits. He's had big moments. He had an RBI single I think last night, to really kind of put that game away for the Dodgers. So he's just been awesome. And I came up with a good parody Billy Crystal Oscar a theme song for him. It's a wonderful night for Oscar. Teoscar, will he win?
Oh. All right. Here's some quick questions. Aaron Edick, if you guys were on the roster, what would be your walk-up song?
Why don't you fill that one first, Kev? I got too many on that one.
You got too many. Okay. Yeah. I'm a big Blink-182 fan. I think I would just I Miss You is like my favorite song, so I think I would start off with Blink-182's I Miss You.
I may go Van Halen with Panama. I'm a big
Van
Halen fan, and actually, full disclosure, my brothers have a band, and I've done that song. I've actually sang that song with them. That when they've called me up and done a guest spot. So, but that's one of like 3 or 4 that I would choose. None are coming to mind right now. So Panama, Van Halen for me.
It's classic. Great choice.
Thank you.
From IV, if you could have dinner with any 5 Dodgers players in all-time history, Who would it be and why? 5 might be too many, but maybe do 2 or 3 if you have quick names on your mind.
Well, for me, Lasorda would definitely be on that list. I think Tommy is something else. Koufax, just to get some of the questions about a legend and stuff like that. Mike Piazza, I think, would be an excellent dinner conversation. No, just how everything went down. And
sounds like you're getting Italian.
Oh, of course. And, I got to, man. I mean, my fellow Paisan over here. But yeah, no, Mike Piazza, I think, would be a good one. Kershaw, I think would be great. And of course, Otani. I mean, that would be awesome. I kind of want to know a little bit more about him and what really happened, Shohei.
Yeah, I agree with I would take Kershaw and Otani as definitely 2. Who else would be of interest?
Maybe Jackie Robinson. Would you put, Jackie on there?
I think I like that pick. Jackie Robinson, throw in Sandy Koufax. We'll call it a day.
Yeah.
Actually, I want Zach Greinke as well.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
He's such an interesting mind. Like, you can come, Zach. You don't hold it back in terms of what's on your mind. So,
by the way, I also think Jimmy Rollins would be cool to have dinner with. He probably has some stories growing up in Oakland, being with the Phillies and everything like that. I think that would be a fun dinner.
Just don't talk about his Dodgers track record. Okay, so let's see. Jello's is jiggling. Best pizza in LA. Oh, because the people know I'm a big pizza guy. He's got Apollonia's, which I believe was Stan Kasten's number 1 choice as well. And then Pizzeria Bianco, which they have an LA location. Mm-hmm. There's a great Netflix documentary about the Phoenix location, which is where it started. Secret Pizza, I actually have not been there, but I've been hearing a lot of great things. And then Prime Pizza, I've been there. Apollonia's is probably in my top 5. I keep saying Pizzeria size number 1, so there's my number 1. Descano or Descanso. God, is it Desano or Descanso Pizza? I think it's Desano Pizza in East Hollywood. That's in my top 5. A lot of great pizza in LA. Pizza in Los Angeles smokes Chicago.
For sure. A couple of local spots, because I'm in the South Bay area. Bonello's in San Pedro, and there's also a location in Lomita. Bono's, which also has 2 locations in San Pedro and Long Beach. And then there's another good one we had one time. I think it's called Italia in Gardena, right off of Redondo Beach Boulevard. So that's a good spot. It's either Italy or Italia, or what. It's a really good spot, and you could also get grocery there too. So that's a good spot.
Italy,
Italy, but it's EAT. Yeah. I was like, is it Italy, Italia? Yeah, I couldn't remember the name. It's been a minute, but that's a good spot too.
Yeah, been there. They're good. North Italia, they have good pizza.
That one's good. Yeah,
pizza for life, man.
Hey, I'm Italian. Pizza's good on everything, bro.
Hell yeah. Chris, do you have any final thoughts before I know you got to split in a second?
No. I mean, this was, first of all, thanks for having me on, Kev. I love the back and forth, and I love the platform you give me, and I appreciate the shout out on my article and everything. No, just, with this Dodger team, let's not panic after series losses. Some matchups are better than others. By the way, this Reds team, the last couple of years, they're always a thorn in the Dodgers side. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that these were 3 hard-fought wins over the last, three games, but it's a good test for them. It's a good way to say, okay, your offense isn't going. How are you going to win? Your pitching's not going. How are you going to win? So the fact that they have the confidence, like, we could beat you with our starting pitching, we could beat you with our relief pitching, we could beat you with our timely hitting or our power. That's part of the grind of 162 games. So let's not panic over any bad stretches, over any struggles. Yes, the expectations are here. We get it. But at the same point in time, doesn't it matter more how you finish the season and carry some of that momentum into October? Because let's be honest, the last few years, they've gone out quickly. So that is something that should be the focus. Get healthy, get guys going, let them finish the season on a high note, and hopefully carry some momentum into October. So it is a process. I'm going to quote Brad Pitt from Moneyball. It's a process. It's a process. It's a process. All right.
There you go. Chris and the movie quotes, name a better duo right there. Where's Tony Reale when you need him to correct me? I had a big goof that I thought the Dodgers had the Mets up, but they got 3 with the Diamondbacks. That's when the Mookie Betts bobblehead is. Then they go to Cincinnati for another 3.
That's right.
And then they got the Mets. So that's what the schedule looks like for the Dodgers. Diamondbacks are starting to really slump. So let's end their season early on.
Why not?
All right, so yeah, Chris is going to go in a second. I can still hang here, folks, for about 15 minutes or so. So fire away with any questions you've got. I will answer anything. I'm here to entertain you all. We're about 40 minutes into this live stream, so rip them away, people. Trade deadline still over 2 months away, but I'll circle back. The Dodgers are playing awesome baseball right now. Shohei Ohtani is the man of the hour. Walk-off winner. What more can you ask from this guy? I mean, just everything that he's added to this ball club so far really makes the offense go full circle.
For sure. Yeah, no, and I'll close out on this note. Ohtani is somebody who's, with all the stuff going on around him, and that Ipe situation is still, there's new storylines every day. The fact that he is so focused, I think we have to appreciate that. The focus, not just the greatness on the field, but the focus in which he conducts himself and able to kind of compartmentalize everything. I think I've been able to marvel at that and just in awe of it. So, hopefully that continues. And Kev, I'm gonna bounce out now. Have a great rest of your show. Thanks again for having me on, and go Dodgers, man. We'll see what they do against the Snakes.
Yes.
3 games. And
all right.
we'll keep in touch, and check out my latest article, MLBreport.com, about James Outman and the situation there, because it's not all bad. And I want that kid to continue to improve that swing. And that way, when he comes back up, he'll be more productive. So thanks again, Kev. Appreciate it, everybody. And take care.
Thank you, Chris. All right. So it's just me for the final part of the show, everyone. This is your time to ask any questions right now, and I will get to anything you guys throw my way. So in the meantime, I just want to give a quick shout out to some Dodger relievers. He got optioned, but JP Fireeisen has looked a lot better for the Dodgers, lowered his ERA to 6 on the season. And I mean, despite the fact that he only throws like 91 miles per hour, he does have 8 strikeouts across 9 innings and has been able to work some high leverage situations. So the confidence and the stuff from Fireeisen is getting better. Of course, Daniel Hudson, overall, he had a little speed bump about a couple weeks ago, gave up a few solo home runs, but he's really been exceptional for the Dodgers. This was a non-roster invite, as a quick reminder. He's thrown 19 innings for the Dodgers, has a 2.84 ERA, an 0.79 whip, and the opposition's hitting 200 against Daniel Hudson. I really hope he's able to stay healthy for the entire season. He's been awesome for the Dodgers. Blake Trinan, he's already thrown 6 innings for the Dodgers, yet to give up an earned run, 0.67 whip. So Blake Trinan is definitely back and better than ever. This Dodgers bullpen as a whole, I mean, they've got a 2.99 bullpen ERA on the season. So Andrew Friedman has been awesome for the Dodgers in terms of getting this bullpen in order. Aaron Attic asking, which bobbleheads, if any, do I own? It's in the corner, but my favorite bobblehead, let me go get it. My most prized possession is, of course, the Corey Seager World Series and NLCS MVP bobblehead. It's my favorite. I have a Nomar Garciaparra bobblehead right here. I have my own, but I am giving away, as a quick reminder, a Walker Buehler bobblehead. Free entry, the last 2 videos, and then this one will be the 3rd opportunity. All you have to do is comment in each video and mention something about Walker Buehler, and you get an entry. So there's 3 entry opportunities right now. So all you need to do is comment below in the video comment section after this stream is finished. Mention Buehler's name. You get a drawing entry. But pretty excited about that one. I have some other ones that I don't really give a shit about anymore, like Kenta Maeda. He was fine for the Dodgers, but I'm not excited about owning a Kenta Maeda bobblehead, if I'm being quite honest. I have an Andre Ethier bobblehead somewhere. I loved Andre Ethier, one of my all-time favorite Dodgers. He was just sensational and clutch for everyone that was able to have the luxury to watch Andre Ethier. Got like a Tommy Lasorda bobblehead somewhere. But yeah, I'm not the biggest bobblehead collector. My humble opinion is that there's too many of them and they make Dodger games more expensive. But I am going to the Yoshinobu Yamamoto bobblehead night, June 13th, I believe, against the Texas Rangers. So I'm going to add one of those to my collection. And spoiler alert, there will probably be an opportunity for a Yamamoto bobblehead giveaway. So yeah, thank you for the question, Aaronetic. But yeah, if there's no other questions here, I guess I'll get into my final thoughts in just a second. But my final thoughts kind of are along the lines of I don't know what value Austin Barnes really brings to the Dodgers anymore. Offensively, he's an automatic out. Defensively, he's a liability at this point. Pitch framing, he's not what he once was. So what are we doing by continuing to roster Austin Barnes? I mean, Kershaw isn't here. He's dead weight. I would love to see the Dodgers maybe cut bait and give Hunter Fiducia an opportunity. This guy's been slashing at the AAA level for the last couple years now. Give him an opportunity. He's on the 40-man roster. Let's see what he can do for the Dodgers. If they got a fake an IL stint for Barnes so that we can actually see what we have in Fiducia, I'm here for it because I think he would be an upgrade at this point. I mean, who wouldn't be an upgrade over Austin Barnes at this point in time? And then, yeah, with Chris Taylor, I've seen enough from him. He needs to find a way into AAA somehow, whether it's a fake rehab or he agrees like Jose Abreu and goes down to the minors. They're paying him way too much money for him to ride the bench. It's what he's doing, the negative 0.7 WAR and all that. It's unacceptable. And I know that most Dodger fans agree at this point that Chris Taylor is just unplayable. So I'm going to drop right now in the YouTube chat the Discord link to our Incline chat. Very fun group. We've got about 85 people, I believe. Pretty active bunch, always live chatting during Dodger games. People will post the news whenever something breaks, whether it's Dodgers related or MLB related. We got people talking about Van Halen, it looks like, and Metallica in the chat. So big music guy as well. But yeah, the Dodgers, first place. Looks like they've got the division wrapped up already in May, barring a huge collapse. But it's a good bunch. I mean, Andrew Freeman promised us that he would revamp this pitching staff, and he's delivered. Tyler Glasnow has been better than advertised. He's definitely an all-star. The way things are going, he's got like 80 strikeouts over 61 innings. He's an ace. Yamamoto's got an ERA in the low threes. He's able to eat up innings. He's looked really good. Walker Buehler's turning the corner, looking more like Walker Buehler of old. He's throwing 96 basically on average. And if you look at his baseball savant page, you got to go back to 2020, the last time Walker Buehler was consistently throwing this hard. So it seems like Walker Buehler is really finding his old self again. And a lot of worries about that second Tommy John surgery. But so far, the velocity is absolutely there, which is encouraging. It's just going to come down to him working on control of that curveball, which I believe getting a little hit. I think the opponents were hitting like 350 against it last I checked. And then, of course, the slider, which he's not throwing a whole lot yet, but if you actually look at his savant page, I don't think he's given up a hit yet against the slider. So I think there's a lot to be encouraged about with Walker Buehler. And if I was in the front office for the Dodgers, I'm definitely trying to work a way to bring back Walker Buehler next season. Maybe they can come to some type of team-friendly, higher AAV, maybe 2 years with that second-year opt-out, give him like 2 years, $40 million total. I think that would be a kind of a dream scenario. I don't know if Walker Buehler really is going to even pitch himself into the type of consideration from other teams to get like a big multi-year contract, but I guess we still have to just wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, on that note, the Dodgers pitching is like third best in baseball. They're doing good. Unless I got any last second questions here, we're gonna peace out here on the Incline Dodgers podcast. So I want to thank everyone for listening. Make sure you're subscribing if you're listening along on the audio feed. whether it's Apple, Spotify, Amazon, whatever. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and drop a comment below in the comment section and enter for that Walker Buehler bobblehead. Leave us a 5-star review. Make sure you're subscribing and like this video. But yeah, Shohei Ohtani walks it off. Epic day for the Dodgers. They win in extra innings. They go on to win 3 of 4 against the Reds, and they made a statement here. So your Los Angeles Dodgers are playing great ball. I want to thank everyone in the chat for watching along and commenting. Appreciate you all. Might have one more episode coming out in just a couple days, so we could have a surprise guest. So stay tuned for that. And then I'm off to Europe. So go Dodgers.